The 2025 Munich Security Conference was meant to be a show of unity against Russian aggression. Instead, it became the stage for a transatlantic diplomatic crisis. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance, in a speech that stunned the world, launched a scathing critique of Europe. He questioned their commitment to democratic values. He downplayed the threat from Russia. He even seemed to praise the rise of the far right. The silence in the room was deafening. The message was clear. America's relationship with Europe is at a crossroads. Vance's speech marked a significant departure from traditional U.S. foreign policy. For decades, the transatlantic alliance was built on shared values and a common enemy. But Vance, echoing the rhetoric of former President Trump, signaled a new era. An era where America is less interested in leading the free world, and more focused on its own interests. The core of Vance's argument was simple. Europe's biggest threat is not external, but internal. He argued that Europe is retreating from the very values it claims to uphold. He pointed to what he called a pattern of hypocrisy. He criticized Germany for its prosecution of individuals for expressing anti-feminist views. He condemned Sweden for convicting a Christian activist for hate speech. He even called out the UK for violating religious freedom. Vance's speech tapped into a growing sense of unease in Europe. The continent is grappling with a range of challenges. The war in Ukraine, the influx of refugees and the rise of populism have all contributed to a sense of uncertainty. But Vance's solution, embracing the far right, was met with widespread condemnation. Vance didn't hold back in his criticism of specific European countries. He accused Germany of hypocrisy for accepting criticism from climate activist Greta Thunberg, while condemning similar criticism from Elon Musk. He criticized Sweden for convicting Rasmus Paludan, a far-right activist, for burning a Quran. He questioned the UK's commitment to religious freedom, citing the case of Adam Smith Connor, who was arrested for praying outside an abortion clinic. Perhaps the most controversial aspect of Vance's speech was his downplaying of Russian interference in European politics. He criticized U.S. intelligence agencies for their past assessments of Russian activities. He even cast doubt on the legitimacy of the annulled Romanian presidential election, which was marred by allegations of Russian meddling. This stance, reminiscent of former President Trump's skepticism towards Russia, further strained transatlantic relations. Vance's speech sent shockwaves across Europe. European leaders were quick to condemn his remarks. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius called them unacceptable. Nathalie Tocci, director of the Istituto Affari Internazionali, accused Vance of trying to destroy the EU and its liberal democracies. The reaction highlighted the deep divisions that now exist between the US and its European allies. Vance's speech raises serious questions about the future of the transatlantic alliance. His embrace of the far right, his skepticism of traditional alliances, and his willingness to publicly criticize Europe represent a fundamental shift in US foreign policy. It remains to be seen whether this new approach will advance American interests in the long run. But one thing is clear, the transatlantic relationship has entered a new and uncertain chapter.